All right. Welcome once again, our dear viewer, to Budget Cafe Discussions, a platform which bridges the knowledge and awareness gap regarding the budget making space here in Kenya.
So guys, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for joining us today, where we are going to discuss key government budget documents. So first of all, we are going to start with the CIDP. But before we go ahead, it will be essential for you to learn some key terms. Okay? So I would like you to you can see some terms over there. So just randomly, kindly state what do you think that means? And then now I'm going to get into the definition later on. So what is a budget year or a fiscal year or financial year? All of them are the same terms.
The year within which some expenditure will be done.
Someone else? What about development expenditure or capital expenditure?
This has got to do with just like the term says, development, like building of roads, building of bridges, and maybe building offices.
Awesome. What about economic classification?
I'm sure I'm not alone in class.
Yes, Martin is present, Caroline is present, Stephen is present. So, Stephen, Caroline, kindly help Beatrice out. So these are some of the commonly used terms when we are talking about the budget, and more so with regard even to the government budget documents that we are going to delve deep into learning about. So we have the budget year or fiscal year or financial year. We have the development or capital expenditure. We have economic classification. What does it mean? Entertainment tax. What is the entertainment tax? What is flagship project or capital project or transformational project? What is functional classification? What does priority mean? What does program, property tax, recurrent expenditure, sector, department or ministry, what do they refer to? Sector ceiling, sub-program, local revenue. So these are the definitions. Okay. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay, it's all right, Caroline. She's on her way home. So she's saying that she's on her way home. Once she reaches home, she'll now be able to even share her thoughts. Okay, so budget year, fiscal year, financial year. So this is a complete government budget reporting period covering 12 months from 1st July to 30th of June. Okay? So development or capital expenditure refers to expenditure on capital items or fixed assets such as roads, buildings, hospitals. What does economic classification mean? Economic classification focuses on recurrent expenditure. Okay? So this means personal emoluments. So recurrent expenditure is like salaries, you know, money that goes towards paying salaries, wages. So economic classification focuses on recurrent expenditure. Personnel emoluments, operations and maintenance, and development expenditure that includes purchases, transfers to individuals to the program level. And then you have entertainment tax. So this is tax imposed by county government to certain forms of entertainment, such as shows, films, exhibition, and then flagship project or capital projects or transformational project. These are projects with a high impact on transforming counties in employment creation, increasing county competitiveness, revenue generation. They are financed through development or capital expenditure and usually last at least a budget year. So even when you look at the CIDP, you're also going to see flagship project. So you find that when an incoming government is coming in place, there are flagship projects that they have put in place that are going to ensure employment creation, increasing competitiveness, county competitiveness, and revenue generation. So we are going to look further into that. And then there's also functional classification. This is more of what the funds are to be spent on or was spent on. That is categories like health, education. So, and then now we have priority. Priority are categories of spending that receive special attention over the medium term. They could be sectors, departments, or ministries, or programs and sub-programs, or projects that get higher budget allocation or share as compared to the previous year. So if you remember when we were going through the priorities, county priorities, you realize that there were certain departments that were receiving higher allocation than others. And you saw that agriculture was not a priority sector in Machakos. All right. So with regard to priority, that means that the one that you are seeing that it is receiving more government allocation, that is where the county has placed its priority on. And then program, it is a group of independent but closely related activities designed to achieve a common outcome. Property tax is levied by the county government on land or land improvement, such as buildings. The rate depends on the location and value of the property. Okay. So with regard to program, you see, like if we look at health, you look at health, health also has various, it is classified. You can find that there's health. Okay. Yeah, Martin has joined us. So you find that even in the health sector, there are programs that are there. If you look at agriculture sector, they have programs, and those programs are classified into sub-programs. So these are things that we're going to find when we are looking at the CIDP and the other budget documents. And then recurrent expenditure. This is expenditure incurred in operating the services provided by the county government. It includes expenses such as compensation to employees, purchase of goods and services, operations, and maintenance. So you usually find that recurrent expenditure is usually more than development expenditure, because you find that like even with regard to like even health experiences a lot of recurrent expenditure, because they have to have so many personnel, health personnel, who can take care of sick persons in the county. So recurrent expenditure, yeah, it is incurred in operating services provided by the county government. It includes expenses such as compensation to employees, purchase of goods, services, and operations. So you see, like, even when you are talking about, like, if you're looking at health and you're looking like a purchase of family planning commodities, you find that it is in the recurrent expenditure, because these are things that are usually they are fast moving goods, just like the way milk is fast moving. This is just an example. So that is where you find like even contraceptives, they are under that recurrent expenditure. So sector, department, and ministry, they are usually used interchangeably, though they mean the same thing. So these are a group of institutions that contribute towards a common function. They can be in the health sector, education sector. Kenya counties have used sectors or departments and ministries interchangeably to mean the same thing, although some may distinguish on distributing or reporting their budget expenditure. And then we have sector ceilings, okay? So these are maximum budget distribution or allocations to sectors, departments, or ministries. All right. So even as we learned even last week, we had mentioned that when we are looking at like at the county fiscal strategy paper, you find that it is crucial for citizens to participate during the CFSP, because that is when the budget allocation are set. All right. And they propose this is the amount of money that we have said that we are going to use for this financial year. All right. So if you want to advocate for more funds to be distributed in whatever sector you want, that is the high time that you should engage in. And then sub-program, it is the part of the program created for the delivery of services and activities which contribute to the achievement of the objectives of a program. That is projects. So you see, like if we have the health sector, you find that they have different sub-programs. So like one of the sub-programs is called RAMCA, Reproductive, Maternal, Neonatal, Child, Adolescent Health. You also find that there is also research. You also find that there is curative, preventive. So these are sub-programs. So local revenues or on-source revenues, what does that refer to? These are the revenues that counties are authorized to impose charges. It falls under the following major categories: property rates, entertainment tax, and any other tax authorized by an act of parliament. So you find that there are so many taxes, like even in Machakos, like you find that there is even cess. You find that there is even like even at the market, so you find there are so many taxes that are there, and you usually find them in the finance bill, because the finance bill, once it has been passed, that one now states where the county is going to generate revenue, local revenue from, or on source revenue. Okay. And then, yeah, so I'd like to ask, is there anyone with any question before we proceed now to the key government budget documents? Or you are good to go? Beatrice, are you okay? Martin, Stephen, Caroline?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, great. So now we can go ahead and take a look at the County Integrated Development Plan. So the County Integrated Development Plan is a document prepared by all counties to guide their development for 5 years. So in Machakos, the current County Integrated Development Plan we have is 2018 to 2022. The previous one that we had was 2013 to 2017, okay? So Section 108 of the County Government Act provides details of the information included in the CIDP, all right? So if you want to access the County Government Act 2012, you can just Google it and go through it. So you will find the details, the detailed information that they have on the CIDP. Section 104(1) of the same act further says that no public funds shall be appropriated outside the county's planning framework. So, in short, what they are saying is that a county integrated development plan is essential. You as a citizen, all right? It is essential for you to participate during the county integrated development plan. so that you can state what would like to be addressed in the county. So if those things you want have not been mentioned in the CIDP, like if your county has not mentioned, if Machakos County has not stated that it's going to focus on water, it's going to prioritize water. So that means that in the forthcoming years, even during the other budget, during the budget making process, you will find that they can't say that we are going to establish dams in every ward. If that wasn't included in the county in the integrated development plan, they can't do that because it is not budgeted for. All right. So therefore, the CIDP forms a critical base on development priorities that informs other decisions in the budget process, particularly the annual development plans, which is the other document that we are going to go through after we are finished with the county integrated development plan, the county fiscal strategy paper, annual budget estimates approved each year. Okay. So the county integrated development plan presents these key issues. Number one, revenue. Number two, sectoral expenditures. Number three, priorities. Number four, major flagship or transformational projects. And number five, CIDP linkages with other plans. So we are going to start with the revenue information or revenue mobilization. So the county integrated development plan should provide comprehensive information on revenue, including revenue performance over the past financial years covered in the previous CIDP. So like now, what they're referring to here is the CIDP for 2013 to 2017. Revenue collection challenges and proposed solutions to address the identified challenges. And the current CIDP ought to give the strategies of revenue mobilization for the next period of years to be covered by current CIDP. And this includes individual budget year projections covering intergovernmental transfers and on local sources of revenue, their strategies for raising funds from existing revenue sources and exploring or expanding new revenue sources bases. All right. So, is there a question? All right. Now there's an exercise I'd like you to go through. Does the current CIDP give a breakdown of revenue performance by source for the previously implemented county integrated development plan? So if you look at the the CIDP, I shared the CIDP with you yesterday so that at least you can go through it so that you can see how it looks like. Okay. So this one is the CIDP we shared for 2018 to 2022. So they are giving a review of implementation of previous CIDP. That one you can find on page 68. If there's someone who's there, they can check it out. But I have gotten a piece of it so that at least now we can go through. So if you look at chapter 3, the review of implementation of previous CIDP 2013 to 2017. So they're starting by saying this chapter provides a review of the 2013 to 2017 CIDP and the sectoral performance. You can see like these keywords are the ones that we had started with regard to defining the key terms. So I hope you are not floating. So this chapter provides a review of the 2013 to 2017 CIDP and the sectoral performance over the period. So when they say like sector performance, you know, they say that the intermix sector department, ministry. So you can have the Ministry of Health, you can have, or the Department of Health, you can have the one for social services. So the CIDP gives the sectoral performance over the period, now the 2013-2017. In addition, it highlights the major challenges faced during the implementation of the plan, lessons learned and recommendations. It further provides analysis of county revenue and expenditure for both recurrent and development for the period and a review. So, analysis of the county revenue streams. As I had stated earlier, a county has various ways of generating income. So it has their own source revenue, or the county local revenue. It also has another source of revenue source, which is allocation from the national government. And here we are speaking about equitable share and also grants. All right, like the conditional grants that they get from the government. So with regard to county local revenue, these are the taxes that are imposed to the citizens who are residing in that particular county, the different types of taxes. And then equitable share, you remember that like there was a big discussion late last year regarding equitable share, how much will go to each county. So this is what they were referring to. So like Machakos has a certain allocation that it has to get. And then conditional grants, these are, you find that like, especially when you are looking at the health sector, you find like the World Bank through the health system strengthening, they usually give funds to the health sector. Even Danida does the same. Danida is from the Danish government. So during the period under review, the performance of the county local revenue was below average, recording 46.4% of the set target. This was due to social, economic, and political issues, including waivers and devolution transitions, among others. On the other hand, the allocation from the national government was at 91%, despite the delays in the disbursement as shown in the table below. So, you can look closely. So you can see for the financial year 2013-2014, the county local revenue was at 2.5. This was targeted revenue, the one that they had expected. So, and this is 2.5 billion that they expected to collect. And then equitable share, they expected to get from the national government 5.957 billion. Grants, they put it at blank because you know that's the time that devolution started. So they didn't have didn't have a definite figure. So you find that the total that they had expected to collect by the end of the targeted revenue that they had expected to collect was 8.457 billion. And then actual, this is the amount that they collected in Machakos County in 2013-2014. So you find that they had targeted to collect 2.5, but they ended up collecting 1.175 billion. With regards to equitable share received, the equitable share they were supposed to get was 5.957, but they eventually got 5.059. Grants, they didn't get. So you find that the actual amount that they got was 6.234 billion compared to the targeted revenue, which they had set at 8.457 billion. All right. So you find that if you are looking at performance, if you are looking at performance, you can see that local revenue, they performed poorly, and that was at 47%. There is someone who is I don't know who is kindly mute your line. Let me see. Kindly mute your line. Okay, good. Oh, someone. Now whose turn? Now wasn't muted their line. Oh yeah, it's Caroline. I've muted for her. Yeah. All right. So, so I hope you're following me keenly so that you can understand what we are talking about here. So, you can see that they had set like county local revenue. They had expected that in 2013, 2014, they are going to collect 2.5, but they ended up collecting 1.175. So, with regard to performance, they performed poorly at 47%. And the equitable share was at 90%. They were actually given by the by the national government. So with regard to performance in 2013-2014, they were at 73.71%. Now, if you look at the financial year 2014-2015, and I told you that financial year is from 1st of July to 30th of June. So financial year 2014-2015, you can see here targeted revenue in billion. So the county government of Machakos, targeted revenue that they had put in place was 2.85 billion. Equitable share that they were expecting from the government, 6.062 billion. Grants that they were expecting from the national government, 0.199 billion. All right, which brings the total to 9.111. Now, when we are looking at the actual performance, how much they collected at the end of the financial year, you find that it's Machakos County collected from on-source revenue 1.356 billion, and yet they had stated that they'll collect 2.85 billion. Okay, and then with regards to equitable share, they received 6.6062 billion, which is the same as what they had projected, which is now 100%. So they utilized the 100%. And then now with regards to grants, 0.199. All right. That is what now the actual allocation that they got. So which brings the total to 7.537 billion. So you can see that there is an increase in budget allocation. So in 2013 it was at 6.2 billion. 2014 it was at 7.5 billion. But let us see. Yes, there was a increase in budget allocation. But what about absorption? How did they utilize that money? So with regard to the county government, they said that they will collect 2.85, but they ended up collecting 1.356. So this means that they collected 47.6%, which is below average. So you even tend to wonder why the county government is putting high targets of collecting local revenue. You see, like the taxes that you pay for, like license, like even for fire, you know, they had set this amount. They set high amounts, but yet they are not meeting the target that they had stated. Okay. So with regards to the equitable share, they utilized all of it, which is 100%. So you can see that, like even the grants, 59.8%. So the total, how they performed in 2014-2015 is 82.72%. Now, when we come to the year 2015-2016, so the county stated, you know, we are setting higher targets. Let us set a lower target to be at 2.37 billion. We see how much we are going to collect. All right. And the national government stated that instead of giving them 6 billion, let us increase it to 8.572, the equitable share. So they got an 8.572. And with regards to grants, they said, oh, let us also increase. We give them 0.235 billion. So in total, the targeted revenue they expected to collect 11.177 billion. Now let us see the actual allocation. The actual the one that they actual revenue that they got. So they had stated that they are going to collect 2.37, but you can see they collected only 1.121 billion. So you can see from even these figures that they resonate around 1 billion. They set higher target of 2 billion, but they end up collecting less. And then equitable share, you can see 6.972 billion. That is what they actually used, actual allocation. Yet they had stated that they are going to utilize 8.572, but they ended up only using 6.972. And then with regard to grants, 0.207. So you can see this brings to total 8.3 billion. And yet in the their targeted revenue was 11.177, but now it's only 8.3 billion. That's a reduction. So county local revenue, it is still circulating around 47, okay, so 47.3%. And then now equitable share, the performance, 81%, grants 88%, so which brings it to 74.26. So you can see that this year they performed poorly as compared to the previous year, which was 2014, 2015. And then with regard to 2016, 2017, now they had estimated that the target revenue that they are going to collect is 2.86 billion. The equitable share, they put it at 7.303 billion. Okay, that they are going to get from the government, national government. And then the grants 0.749. So which brings the total to 10.912 billion. If we look at the county local revenue, they only collected 1.259. And yet they expected to collect 2.86. And then with regard even to the equitable share, they expected to, they got the same amount that they had that they had asked for. So you can see it, even it is at 100%. And then with regard to the grants, you can see even performance, it has overperformed by 102%, which brings it to 85.48. So you can see that the county government performed when it comes to revenue performance review. It performed very well in the financial year 2016-2017, all right? And the average performance over the years is at 79.18 total. For grants, 92%, for equitable share, 91%, local revenue, isolated around 46.4%, all right? So now I would like to ask you.
Can I ask?
Yes.
What for them to put to say that we are going to collect 2.5? What do they take into account? And number two, the equitable share. What is considered to know Machakos can only get 5.9 and not 2? And then the third question is, what's the difference between equitable share and the grants?
Okay. So we can now start with the number one. The number one question was?
Like when the county government sits and says, we are going to collect 2.5.
Yes.
What do they take into consideration? Because I wanted to imagine that they sit down and say, like, we have 10 companies, we have so many retail, we have so many shops, and they come up with a figure of the revenue that they are going to collect.
Yeah. So you see,
why is it that they will not be able to collect it? Or what do they consider? Or do they just somebody closes their eyes and puts a figure?
You know, you see, like, Machakos, Machakos, you find that in Machakos, we also have Mavoko, and Mavoko has so many industries. So, you know, like when they sit down, when the county treasury sits down to come up with this, the local revenue, what they are going to come up with. They usually look at the various channels. They usually say like, oh, these are the number of businesses that we have in Machakos. So this is what they are going to pay. These are the we are seeing like there are so many cars that are coming from other counties which are ferrying goods. They have to pay cess. So they usually approximate, and then they say, we expect like 50,000 cars are going to pass this month. All right. And they are going to pay cess. Okay. So they put these projections. But sometimes when these projections that they put, they don't materialize. You know, it's just that it's just the way someone usually says, you know I can do this. We are so endowed. Mavoko, I can expect this. Masinga, I can expect this. But you know, there are certain social economic factors that happen that make people not do that. You know, like you find like even maybe there are some they were saying that we are going to collect this amount of taxes from these industries, and yet along the line you find some industries have closed shop. So that means reduction in revenue. So it's usually a projected figure that they usually put. That is why unaona ni targeted revenue. But when it comes to allocation, the one that they get, that is why you find sometimes it is down. But you see, for Machakos County, I think there is need for them to put realistic figures. If you see that the local revenue that you collect isolates around 1 billion or 1 point something, it is better to put that so that you can work hard towards getting that. Though there is also this another fear that if you put the amount at 1 point, let's say 1 billion, you're going to be playing safe, and they don't want to be seen as playing comfortable or playing safe. So those are the various myriad of factors that are causing these changes. So what was your second question?
The equitable share.
Yeah,
what does the national government consider to say it will give Machakos 2 shillings?
Okay, you know, like you know that there is the Commission for Revenue Allocation. The Commission for Revenue Allocation. So you find that like when we went through the budget calendar, you saw like now you saw the like now the division of revenue. So, and it is discussed at the Senate. So what happens with regards to equitable share? They look at there is a certain formula that has been utilized to come up with how much each county should get, because you will note that not all counties are receiving the same equitable grant. You find that Nairobi gets 10 billion. You find that Turkana is getting a larger amount as equitable share. Like now the ones like Turkana, you know, like the ones for Northeastern. Okay, so you find Machakos, they set it at that amount because they're utilizing that particular formula. It is a formula that the Commission for Revenue Allocation come up with to guide the division of revenue for the counties. And some of the aspects that they look at is poverty index. The other thing that they also look out is fiscal discipline. Okay, and many other factors, but we are going to get into that division of revenue later on, so that you can understand keenly what this entails. What about the third question?
The difference between the equitable share and the grants.
Okay, Now the equitable share, this one is usually discussed in the Senate. And as I said, equitable share is from the national, is from the Commission of Revenue Allocation. They table it at the Senate, and then senators discuss how much each county should get based on a certain formula, okay? And this formula started way back, even in 2013 or so. So after every 3 years, you find that a new formula is brought in place. So this equitable share now refers to that, and it is discussed there. With regards to grants, this is money that is gotten from donors. So you may find that there are donors who say that we are going to support agriculture. Like there's one for supporting agriculture, there's one for supporting infrastructure, there's one for supporting health. So you find that World Bank is saying we are going to support this. So you find that in Machakos, you find that there are these conditional grants that are given by even World Bank, Denmark, like these embassies, international organizations to help the county. Yeah. Have I answered?
Yeah, I'm just seeing way to some point is the figures are there to balance the budget. But let's move on. Maybe I will understand as we move on.
We will understand as we move on. Anyone with a question?
Yes, I have a question. Huh?
Yes, kindly go ahead and ask Martin.
My question is where the money comes, especially to address the emerging issues, emerging disease. Whether we have such an account or because
yes,
I see sometimes
yes, the county has an account.
Okay.
Yes, the county has has money set aside for emergency. For emergency, yeah. But we're going to discuss that later on.
The last one is, although this one may not fit into today's lesson, but the supplementary budget, what necessitates it, when we were talking about the calendar of the financial events,
yes.
I don't know whether that one featured. So I wonder
the supplementary budget.
Yeah,
so
what necessitates it?
Yeah, so let me share a bit about the supplementary budget. So with regard to supplementary budget, you see, like when you find sometimes, like, yes, the budget, the county government has passed a certain amount of money to be used, but along the line they realize, we need more money. So that is when now they sit as the county assembly or the national assembly to come up with just a minute. Yeah, so you find like the National Assembly and the County Assembly, you see, like when a government wants money immediately, they have room for borrowing through supplementary budget. You see, like even like what happened during COVID-19. You find like that the financial year has not yet ended, but a supplementary budget was asked for. So that is usually what happens. So the supplementary budget helps. Maybe the county government stated that they're going to utilize this money, but they later realized that money is not enough. They need more. So that is what they usually utilize. But sometimes I find that they misuse the supplementary budget. It's like they just put it there to utilize in case of emergencies. Like they're taking advantage of it. But the supplementary budgets usually help the county government a lot, and even the national government, so that their service delivery can be smooth. So yeah, so if we look at this, if we look at this exercise, does the current CIDP give a breakdown of revenue performance by source for the previously implemented CIDP, like the one that we have discussed? Does it give it in detail, as I had shared?
We wanted to, personally, I believe this is a summary. What is the question, first of all?
The question is, does the current CIDP give a breakdown of revenue performance by source of the previously implemented CIDP?
Yeah, they are reporting the current vis-a-vis last year's.
Oh, they have reported. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that is good. That is good. Yeah. So because of time, we'll not be able to go through the exercise 2, but I propose that we go through exercise 2 on Friday at 5, so that you can be able to understand this CIDP. You know, like we are having next election next year, and once you have that election in 2022, there's going to be now development of the CIDP for the next financial year, for the next 5 years. So like this information is very crucial, so that at least you can even mobilize your teams on the ground, so that they can also participate in it based on this information that you have. So with regard to that, we will continue on Friday, so as we can delve deeper, so that you can even understand the CIDP. I want you guys to be fully informed about the CIDP and the other budget documents. Is there any question before we end, or comment?
Personally, I'm okay. I appreciate the presentation.
All right. So I just want to say thank you for joining us today. So on Friday, we are going to delve deeper into understanding the County Integrated Development Plan. So kindly go through the CIDP that I had shared with you, so that if you have any questions arising while we will be discussing, you can just ask, and then I will be able to answer. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for your time, and see you on Friday. Asante.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
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 Where is the thing for stop recording?